What is fear? In my eyes, a variation of fear could be an intense emotion that tends to repel us from situations that we either think is not suitable for us, or we think are going to lose something very valuable, or we are generally scared of something out of hand is going to happen. And so I'm saying this because I believe that many people in general, are afraid of death and basically the concept of what happens after you die, or the pain of what it means to die, basically. And so I'm saying all those stuff because I believe that fearing something that you never come across is kind of pointless. In what sense? Let me explain. Basically, I love this quote. Epicurus once said, which goes like this: when we exist, death doesn't exist, and when death exists, we don't exist. So essentially, we never came across towards each other, and basically, we are never experiencing what truly is death unless it is upon somebody else, right? And so the fear is basically hidden in the sense of the unknown. Basically, the unknown is always more scaring, let's say, than the one that it is known, because the unknown holds potential, and the potential may as well either turn out to be something great and hopeful, or something disastrous. And death automatically means that it is a disaster. Well, it does seem to be, for some people, to be the end. And probably there will be end to many things we wish won't come, but probably will. But if it is inevitable, then we should not be bothered to escape the inevitable. We should be more present and more to realize essentially that life and the form we're right in, our existence right now, it is that itself, limited. So when the moment comes of us dying eventually, it's going to be a moment that is going to probably exist for the rest of existence. And so the interesting thing is that we are afraid of something we cannot really comprehend, such as death, and many other ideas or concepts, such as God, or the so-called Matrix, or the future. And basically hunting that thing that scares us the most supposedly makes us brave. But really, bravery is not that you're not afraid of something. It's doing the thing that makes you afraid despite you being afraid. And that's an observation that I think I appreciate more, because really most of the things that people want are beyond their fear of everything. And so I'm saying this because if people are afraid of death, basically they will do whatever it takes to keep themselves alive because of their fear. And basically based on that, people won't ever make an attempt to do something more with their lives, will never make attempts to try something new, or never make attempts to get out that horrible way of living and horrible habits and horrible partnerships and friendships, because they never dared. Why they never dared? Because they're too afraid. That fear, basically, the pain of fear is so strong, and the steps that you dare to do that are a bit beyond your fear are also a bit painful. And so the idea is that fear becomes less present when we are away from situation that tends to make us fear more, right? But also it grows stronger when you don't really spend time on facing fears and really trying to be calm when things are hard, or trying to learn and grow to be adaptable to hard situations. And I find this paradox a quite interesting paradigm, because essentially this says that you're either way going to be afraid. You're either going to spend all of your time staying away from fear and basically never dare to challenge the fears that fear you, and basically stay away as much as you can, or you're always going to be afraid, and the more you say no to it, the bigger the risk becomes. And basically, on the one side you always avoid fear, and on the other side you constantly see fear as an enemy. And the more you dare to say no, possibly the fear grows, but at the same time your capabilities grows, your competence grows, your adaptability grows, as opposed to not grow. Because really the idea is just to, if death is supposed to be a time limit for us, then the point should be for our lives to live as much as we can, and as much meaningful lives as we can. And if we want to live meaningful lives, it will essentially mean doing things that are worth doing, and daring to say no, and make attempts and grow and become formidable. Dare to say no to the things that are telling you no, you have no chance, and this should be how it's going to stay. The things that it exists right now, basically you being afraid of the change or being afraid of the unknown, is going to be basically a huge attempt to keep you the same and more unsatisfied and unfulfilled than ever. It's really sad, actually, because, well, like all humans, basically we are afraid of some things or some others. And so basically the ones who dare to say no, basically, that is essentially what bravery means, saying no to your fears, do not really necessarily make up their lives, but at least they tried. And basically this can be one of the greatest results not results, I'm sorry, one of the greatest, I lost the word, one of the greatest regrets that someone can have, essentially, to never try, to never make an attempt, to never show their best. And I'm saying this as a person that I learned to say no to hard situations very young, and that wasn't because I was a brave kid or anything of that sort. It's because things were so freaking hard that no was the only option. And thank God for me, I learned to adapt. And despite that, I'd say that fear will always exist, and I'm not, let's say, afraid of fear itself. And the thing is that I'm much more grateful that I decided to say no, and actually managed to dare things in my life and have amazing relationships, because many people are going to respect the idea that you dare to say no to things that scare you. And the beauty is that we would love to hang out with people that are brave, who are honest, who are courageous, and they dare to say the things that they really want. Because really, that's also a huge regret for people not to say what they want the moment they want, and feeling more free to actually act as they wish. And fear is a huge deal. Fear, it is a pain, basically. It is a defense mechanism that tries to make you survive. So that's why it is also hard to say no to fear in the first place. Fear does try to protect you in a way. It does try to make you run from hard situations and puts you into a fight or flight. The flight is the fear of the situation. And so sometimes I have the impression that our brains are stupid and it's trying to make us survive, but in the worst case possible scenarios. For example, our brains are designed to want to eat sugar and want to eat a lot of calories in order for it to survive, because it was hard back then to survive and we needed more calories, more food for us to survive. We are the exact same organism as then, many hundred years ago, hundreds of, if not thousands of years ago of human evolution. They did not have the food we have today. Almost at every corner food for you to eat, whatever the hell you want, almost. And so the brain constantly wants to eat and eat and eat to secure that it is going to live. When in reality, that basically destroys us, and sugar is not a thing that is going to secure the best future for our organism. And the beautiful thing is that it's just a beautiful paradox in a way. It wants to eat sugar that destroys you in the long term, but for the time being, it makes you think that you are happy and you're going to live with this. And the exact same thing goes with fear, that basically fear exists because it wants you to survive. Stay away from that danger because otherwise you won't live. And that happens a lot. People lose their entire existence and values on things that they don't really want to do, on jobs that they really hate, and they're never honest with themselves and other people around them. And I found this to be ugly in a way, but at the same time natural. Because exactly, it is a defense mechanism made in us. If we just say no to that, then life can be both challenging and both much more beautiful. More challenging and beautiful is ironically the combination that you get when someone dares to say no to fear. And the fear of fearing death is kind of useless. It's the most natural thing in the world for you to be afraid. It's also the most natural thing in the world for you to die. It's just different form of consciousness. We have what we have right now, consciousness, but at the same time we may as well, someone could take some drugs in a way and have some hallucinations. What would you that call? Different kind of consciousness and different kind of existence. And basically death is a different kind of existence and consciousness in a way that it doesn't seem to be very responding or very active in our eyes. But it sure does seem like, if you really see this in a Buddha kind of way, or a Hindu kind of way, or a Tao kind of way, someone could say that there was never life or death to begin with, and we were just all a line of events. And basically we are the manifestation of the universe in a certain here and now. And anyone can say whatever they want about existence, about reality, and anyone can say that you're dead, you're being born, you live, then you die, and then the end of your consciousness and everything that you knew once ended are there. It's just you live, die, and that's it. But if you see it in a way of Hindu, Buddhist, or Tao ways, basically you can see that everything is a beautiful continuation, and there are multiple present moments in infinite here and nows, and that makes it for a beautiful realization of to not taking life so seriously, and not taking certainly the end of life so seriously. You can take seriously the idea of thinking that you're probably never going to live if you constantly put your fears in front of you. But in the long run, I'd say that if someone doesn't know how to live in the present moment, doesn't have a life at all, and that is the point of fearing death, basically. It should be the thing, death, it is the end, in the form of consciousness we are right now. But it does not mean it is the end of the life that you can have in any given moment. Because in any given moment you are alive, you're there. And any moment is beautiful. I realized that, and I think that made life much more fulfilling. It's beautiful. Knowing that every moment that you are existing, that you exist, that you live, is different. I couldn't possibly, I personally wouldn't probably ask for something more unique and multi-dimensional from this. And that's essentially the idea of this video for today. The fear of death is basically pointless, and I would encourage you to discard it entirely. Anyways, that was the video for today, and I hope you really like it. Well, I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye.